I want you all to just write me, write in the chat box about the need of creative writing. What is your understanding about creative writing? Yes, to create new ideas and explore. Okay. Yes, everyone, please write. Kids can express. Okay. Kids can express their feelings, thoughts, and also they can use their knowledge in other ways to ensure more developed way to write and think creatively for expressing ideas. Okay. Okay. So what is the objective of this workshop which we are doing to boost our imagination? Okay. So the first objective is to understand that why we are doing this workshop. Okay. Now, you all should have a clear understanding of what you have, you will be gaining from this workshop. Okay. You have to be empowered. You have to empower yourself with the skills so that you can have an effective teaching in your classroom. For example, you should know that what is the main goal of this creative writing workshop. You should know how will we will be developing the creative writing skills, which is going to benefit you as an educator. Okay, how you can incorporate creative writing techniques into your teaching practice. So these are the key features which you will be learning out of this workshop. Okay. We all need to understand the importance of creativity and storytelling in education, and um, we should not forget that these elements can foster critical thinking, empathy, communication skills in students. Okay, so our aim would be to go and think beyond the traditional teaching methods and explore the power of narrative driven education. Okay, we have to recognize the power of creativity. And how do you demonstrate the power of creativity? By having an engaging uh, ice breaking activities in the classroom. For example, let's do an activity to understand this point, that how by doing simple things we are going to create a difference in our classroom through this workshop, 5 days workshop which we are going to do. So I want you all to pick up any three random objects from your room. Wherever you're sitting, just pick up any three random objects. Just pick up three random objects. Okay, now write the name of the objects in the chat box. Whatever you have chosen right now. You have to take any three objects from your room and you have to write the name of the objects in this chat box. Okay, like Riddhi has written mobile, diary, and pen. Okay, great. So everyone has written three things. Okay, now you all need to use these objects to create a short story. Now you have to use your three objects and make a story out of it. Okay, and it will be all about unleashing your imagination, and you have to show that it's not limited by the rigid rules, but you have the freedom of unique ideas. So make it as um, imaginative it can be. Okay. So I'm giving you 5 minutes. You have to come out with Neelam, you have to pick up 3 objects from your room. You have to type the name of the objects in the chat box. And then you have to make a small story out of your story should include all the 3 objects. Okay. So once you are done, please write down in the chat box and you have to tell the story. All of you are supposed to tell the story. Okay.
Was a little thirsty. So I thought that I would go to the bench where I had kept my bottle of water. When I went near the bench, and I was surprised to see a piece of paper underneath the bench, and it was very attractive, and the color was very pretty. So I took that paper and cut it into a square with the help of my scissor and made a lovely boat of it and took it home. And there, what I did with that, I just went in my room running and I stuck that boat in my scrapbook with the help of a.
Okay, so fictional stories means your imagination. It's not something which really happened. It is completely your imagination, whereas non-fictional stories are the real ones. So when you write a non-fictional story, you have to write the truth. You have to write whatever exactly happened. You have to write it the same way. You cannot make changes. But a fictional story will have your imaginations. You can change whatever you want according to you, and you can just imagine and create a story. So now you write that whether your story is a fictional or non-fictional. Yes, fiction is any wild imagination. Dipali has written. All of you tell me whether your story which you have. So I think most of you must have written a fictional story, because this has to be a fictional story. It has to be a fictional story. When I have given you three objects and then you are creating a short story, then you are imagining something and it's a fictional story, right? So when you have, this is a very uh, easy and quick activity you can do anytime with your children. Ask them to get three things which is near to them and ask them to make a short story and tell them that it's a fictional story. Okay. Now, a fictional story can be a science fiction. Okay. What do you understand by science fiction? Any story which shows the exploring any futuristic concept or any technology, or space travel, kind of things, advanced civilization. When you talk about science, if you're talking about science and you are just imagining something in future, then that will be a science fiction. Then comes fantasy. What is fantasy? It involves magical elements. Now, magical elements means what? When you have any mythical creatures, and it often takes place in the otherworldly setting. Huh? Fantasy, your own fantasies, you just want to be, not to be in the real world. Yes, fairyland is the exact word. So you don't want to be in the real world, but it's something, you know some magic happening. You are somewhere not on this earth but on some other planet, so it will be like mythical characters. So what do you think? Do you know any fantasy fiction story? Can anyone tell me any fantasy fictional story? Name of any? Yes, very good. Cinderella, right? And what about science fiction? Does anyone has any idea? Science fiction, any story based on science fiction? Okay, Spider-Man. Then comes mystery. So what will be there in the fictional story? Having a mystery, of course, focusing on solving a puzzle, a crime, or unearthing a secret through a series of clues and revelations. So any mystery, any sort of mystery which is unrevealed. Okay, so that is mystery. Yes. Okay, then it can be a romance, so romantic fictional story. It can be historical fiction where you go into the past and then you start imagining things there. So this is all about fictional stories. Okay. Non-fictional. So as I told you, non-fictional will deal with real events, people and experiences providing factual information. Okay. Now the examples are biography. Okay. So a narrative of person's life, usually written by someone else, is a biography. Okay. And what is autobiography? When it is written by the same person. If a person writes about himself or herself, then it is autobiography. Essay. Now, what is an essay? That's a short piece of information which is true. When you write an essay, you give a short piece of information which is true. So, but in that essay, the author can put his own opinion. Okay, it's not that when you're writing an essay, it has to be only the facts. When you are writing an essay, as an author, you can put up your own points for discussion. Okay, so that's an essay. Now, if you write about, I'm asking this question, you all need to give me the answer. If you're writing something which focuses on author's personal experiences or memories, then what you will call it as? You can Google and check. If
Autobiography.
no, it's about personal experiences and memories. A biography is a narrative of person's life. There's a difference. Okay. When you write an autobiography, you have to write everything about your life. But here I'm asking when the author is just sharing any personal experience or any personal memory. Just taking it as a quiz where you need to Google and give the answer.
Ma'am, it's called memoir.
Yes, who said that?
Ma'am, Kritika.
Yeah, so well done. So this way, whenever you're teaching, whenever you're having a class, you have to give some kind of quiz where the child has to participate and find out the answer. That will keep the students on toes, and they will start, being active in the class and start finding out the answers with the help of someone, whether it's on Google or whether it's with the help of the parents. Because if you give a task which is very difficult and you don't give any clue, you don't give any hint, you don't provide any help of, then the child will just take back and he'll sit back and he won't be participating. But when you just give a little push by saying, okay, you can take the help from this, then they will try to come out. So you have to make them participate more. And for that, we have to ease down their task so that they don't feel the fear of not being able to answer. Okay. Then comes horror. We all know that what horror stories are. So they are designed to elicit feelings of fear and suspense, often involving supernatural or terrifying elements. That is your horror stories. And then we have thrillers. What are thrillers? They are fast paced and they are suspenseful narratives that keep readers on the edge of their seats with unexpected twists and turns. That is thriller. So what is the difference between horror and thriller?
Horror will have supernatural things and thriller will not have it as it is.
Thriller will have more unexpected twists and turns. You just don't know what's going to happen next. But horror will will scare you more. Okay, that would be scary. Okay, having some supernatural or terrifying elements, whereas thrillers will be very fast paced. Now, suspense, full of suspense. And every time for not for a second, you get bored, and it's always like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next? That's a thriller. Then comes adventure. What is adventure? Adventure stories will include what? Exciting journeys. Okay,
Yeah.
quests, challenges. Okay, so that is adventure stories. And then comes children's literature. That's for young readers, which can have a combination of all. It can encompass various genres like fantasy, adventure, picture books. So that's children's literature. Now, what is satire? Have you heard about
Satire means,
that?
yes, ma'am.
That's humor. Okay, sarcasm to criticize any societal issue. Okay, mostly with the intent to bring a positive change. So, where do you find these satires? Yes, humorous slang. Yes. Where do you find these satires mostly?
In poems and prose
More,
or any current
more,
issue.
more in the newspapers
Yes, yes, ma'am.
for politicians. Yes, in news, satires are there. Crime fiction that will revolve around the crimes, investigations, and pursuit of justice. Okay, so why we have to tell all this to our children, so that they understand, they start taking interest when they are reading. Now they will understand that, okay, it's a fictional story, or is it's a non-fiction. So they will start, when you tell them that these are the types. After that, when you will tell the story, then they will start thinking, oh, is it fictional, is it non-fictional, is it a horror story, is it a fantasy story, is it a mystery story, is it a science fiction? So before that, a story was a story. Just we did the story thing. Everybody put up the story. But now what I will do is, you have to reframe your story, picking any one of the genres which I have told you. So make a little twist in your story and tell me that what do you want. You have to tell me in advance that whether you want to change your story into a science fiction, into a fantasy, into a mystery one, or into romance, or into historical fiction, or into poetry. Poetry will be in the form of a poem, and or in the form of drama. It can be a drama. So drama will have script where the performance, we write it for the performance, including plays. Okay, so mainly it is for theater, film, or television. Or you will convert it into a memoir where you just share your feelings, memories, or you cannot turn it into a biography. You cannot turn it into an autobiography. You can turn it into an essay which has a short piece of information. You can change it into a horror story, a thriller story, an adventure story, or you can make it a satire. Okay, or you can have a crime. So Kritika said that she is going to change her story into memoir. So I am giving you 10 minutes, and I am going to share the notes of whatever I have discussed with you in the WhatsApp group, so that you can just read it, and then you can let us know that what exactly do you want to change it into. Okay, I'm just sharing the notes in the group. Okay. First, you have to just give them 3 objects or any prompt and let them write, and then tell them. It will depend on the level of the students. If the children are young enough, you will not give these so many types of genres, but you will give the simplest ones and they'll convert it into, just for example, if the child has written a story, you can ask the child to convert it into um, a horror story. That will create fun. Okay. And if the child has already written a horror, convert it into a science fiction. Okay. You can ask the child to do like that, and then you can give some help. Okay, always give them some clues, some helps, or some vocabulary words that use these words in your story. So when you get or use these phrases in your story, so that is very important to give them ideas. See, they are not having enough ideas, they're not having enough words, so you have to give them enough of vocabulary that put these words in your story, put these phrases in your story, and convert it into a horror story. So they will not fight with the uh, lack of vocabulary. They won't have to deal with that. That they don't know, they don't have enough vocabulary words, so they will not, be enthusiastic to write a story. Okay, for example, if I ask you to prepare some recipe, some dish which you don't know anything about, then you will not take interest. But if I give you that, okay, these are the ingredients and this is the way how you have to do the things, and then you give the confidence that, okay, after this you can do this, after this, or you can watch a video and then you can prepare. So, then you will get that confidence, okay, I can do it. So the same is with children. If you just tell them that make a horror story out of this, and if they don't have enough words, they don't have enough ideas, they will not try to participate. But at the same time, if you give, okay, these are the words related to horror story, these are the phrases, these are the situations, and then you just have to put them all together, then they'll be very happy. Okay, I can do this, I can just put up the things into this frame and come up with a story. Okay, so you have to be the support to the children, and you have to help them out with hints, with clues, with especially with the words, because they are not having enough vocabulary. So for them it, without words they are not able to make a story, and then they will not take interest. Okay, but if you put that these are the 10-15 words which you need to use in this sequence, you make it easy for them, then they will graduate. And what will happen? See, initially you are doing this, but then gradually, if the child has done it repetitively again and again, again and again, then he himself will be able to come up with ideas. And then this will work, creative writing will work, where the child will actually be able to develop a story on his own. And when you do this repetitively, that now convert the same horror story into a thriller one, or in a poetic form, we'll go to that also, that how we can ask the children to make poetries. So we'll touch that also. Okay. So see you all tomorrow. Okay. And please be more expressive when you tell the story. It should not like you're reading, but you are actually a good storyteller. A teacher has to be a good storyteller. That's the most important part of creative writing. Okay. So see you all tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care.